Here's a statement that might make you scroll twice. Nearly 40% of Gen Z, when searching for information, don't start on Google. They head straight to TikTok or Instagram. Let that sink in. Google, the undisputed king of search for decades, is facing an unexpected challenger: social media. Imagine this: you're trying to find the coolest new coffee shop. Your Gen Z friend opens TikTok, types in "best coffee shops in my city," and instantly scrolls through vibrant 15-second video reviews showing the latte art, the decor, the overall vibe. Meanwhile, you, a millennial, open Google, type the same query, and start sifting through blog posts, star ratings, and TripAdvisor reviews. Two generations, two wildly different approaches to finding answers. This isn't just a quirky habit, it's a fundamental shift in how we seek and consume information. Why this dramatic change? And what does it mean for the future of discovery? Welcome to GENSHIFT. Today we're decoding TikTok search: why Gen Z trusts social media over Google. If your finger hovers over TikTok before Google for a quick search, hit that like button. If you're still a Google loyalist but curious about this trend, definitely subscribe. We're about to unpack the future of search. The visual first versus text first mentality. Our first point of contrast isn't about algorithms or brands. It's about the very architecture of our brains. The battle between social search and traditional search is at its core a battle between two different ways of processing reality: seeing versus reading. This is the visual first versus text first mentality. For Gen Z, a generation that grew up fluent in the language of short-form video, the preference for platforms like TikTok is almost instinctual. It's not just a choice, it's a matter of cognitive efficiency. Neurologically, our brains are hardwired for visuals, processing them up to 60,000 times faster than text. This isn't just about speed, it's about retention. Studies show that viewers can retain up to 95% of a message delivered via video, compared to a mere 10% when reading the same information in text. A video delivers a compressed package of data, visual cues, audio, on-screen text, and emotional tone that the brain can decompress and understand almost instantly. For a generation conditioned by information overload, choosing video isn't laziness. It's a subconscious strategy to manage cognitive load. Millennials, on the other hand, were socialized in a different digital ecosystem. We grew up with Google as the definitive answer machine. Our information-seeking muscles were trained to scan headlines, click blue links, and methodically read through articles to synthesize an answer. We learned to trust the deep dive, to cross-reference multiple text-based sources, and to find authority in the written word. For us, the effort of reading and comparing different articles felt like due diligence, the necessary work required to arrive at a credible conclusion. The process was linear, deliberate, and text was the trusted medium. The data paints a clear picture of this divide. The very format of the results is a primary driver for Gen Z's preference, with 69% citing TikTok's video-based answers as a key reason for choosing it over Google. This preference for visual learning is reshaping what we even consider to be a valid answer. Let's take a simple everyday scenario: finding a recipe. A Gen Zer searches on TikTok and is immediately served a 30-second video showing the entire cooking process, from chopping the onions to the final plating. It's a complete multi-sensory experience. A millennial searching for the same recipe on Google is more likely to land on a food blog, scrolling past a long personal anecdote to find a text-based list of ingredients and step-by-step instructions. This isn't just a difference in presentation, it's a fundamental shift in the definition of information itself. Is an answer a static block of text to be read, or is it a dynamic visual experience to be absorbed? As we move forward, the platforms that can deliver information with the highest impact and the lowest cognitive effort are poised to win the attention war. But the real reason behind this isn't just about video. It's about who Gen Z trusts for that information, and that's what we'll unpack next. Authenticity and relatability versus authority and verification. The second major fault line in this generational search divide is trust. Who do you believe in a world saturated with information? For millennials, the answer was often tied to traditional signals of authority. For Gen Z, the currency of credibility has been completely recalibrated. It's no longer about authority, it's about authenticity. Gen Z has grown up with a finely tuned radar for inauthenticity, born from a lifetime of exposure to digital marketing. They are deeply skeptical of the polished corporate web. The keyword-stuffed articles designed for search engine optimization or SEO often feel like they were written for a robot, not a human. This creates a paradox. The very techniques that make content rank high on Google can make it feel untrustworthy to a Gen Z user. They are fleeing a version of the web that feels overly manicured and commercially motivated, searching for something that feels more real. And they find it in the unfiltered user-generated content of social media. They want more relatable answers, a reason cited by 65% of Gen Z women who prefer TikTok for search. Millennials, conversely, were trained to look for external markers of credibility. We trust established review sites like Yelp or TripAdvisor, articles from reputable news organizations, and information from verified brand websites. Our trust model is hierarchical, placing institutional sources at the top. We are more likely to be skeptical of a random person's opinion on social media, preferring the perceived objectivity of aggregated reviews or an expert's byline. The idea of getting critical information from an influencer might feel less reliable than finding a well-researched article. The data on this shift in trust is startling. A 2024 GoDaddy survey found that 57% of Gen Z consumers are likely to buy a product based on an influencer's post, a figure significantly higher than the 40% who would trust a post from a real-world friend. This suggests that for Gen Z, a specialized influencer can hold more relational authority in their niche than a personal acquaintance. This is backed by other studies showing that 63% of young consumers trust influencers more than brands directly. Let's consider a vignette searching for a new skincare routine. A Gen Zer opens TikTok and finds a creator sharing their personal months-long journey with acne, showing unfiltered before and after videos and recommending the products that genuinely worked for them. The connection feels personal and the evidence feels visceral. A millennial with the same goal is more likely to Google best acne treatments, looking for articles from dermatology websites, links to scientific studies, or reviews on a major retailer's site. One seeks a relatable story, the other seeks verifiable data. This pivot towards peer-to-peer trust has profound implications. It signals the rise of new gatekeepers, influencers, and content creators who now hold significant sway over consumer behavior and opinion. But it also raises critical questions about accountability. In a decentralized information landscape where authenticity is the primary measure of credibility, how do we verify claims and combat the spread of well-intentioned but dangerously incorrect advice? The line between a genuine peer review and a sponsored performance of authenticity is becoming increasingly blurred. So are you a Google loyalist, or has TikTok become your go-to search engine? Do you think visual reviews are more trustworthy than written ones? Tell us which side you're on. Drop a for Google or a for TikTok in the comments, and let us know your preferred search style. Discovery and inspiration vs. specific answers. Beyond visuals and trust, there's a third, more subtle distinction driving this search revolution: the user's intent. Are you actively pulling a specific answer from the internet, or are you passively hoping to push inspiration into your feed? This is the difference between searching for an answer and searching for discovery. Gen Z often uses social platforms not for a specific targeted query, but for open-ended exploration. The search bar on TikTok functions less like a library catalog and more like a dynamic, personalized mood board. The queries are often broad and experiential: fall outfit ideas, aesthetic room decor, or things to do in New York this weekend. The goal isn't to find one correct answer and exit. The goal is to be immersed in a stream of possibilities, to stumble upon ideas you didn't even know you were looking for. This is the power of engineered serendipity, the algorithm's uncanny ability to show you things you didn't know you wanted to see. Millennials, by contrast, typically approach Google as a transactional utility. The intent is directed and problem-solving. We go to Google with a known information gap we need to fill. Our queries are specific and factual: how to fix a leaky faucet, best mutual funds for retirement, or what is the capital gains tax rate in 2025? The search is a means to an end. We want the most accurate, authoritative answer as quickly as possible so we can complete the task and move on. The interaction is a clean transaction. We input a query, we receive a list of links, we find our answer, and we close the tab. Market research clearly delineates this difference in intent. Gen Z turns to social apps for trends in fashion, beauty, and food, while still relying on Google for bigger purchases and professional services. This shows a clear split. Social media is for lifestyle inspiration, while Google is for high-stakes practical information. There are over 10 times more searches on TikTok than on Google for fashion-related terms. Imagine a Gen Z user browsing TikTok for summer outfits. They aren't looking to buy a specific shirt, they're absorbing a collage of styles, trends, and aesthetics to shape their overall look for the season. The search is the beginning of an experience. Now picture a millennial Googling where to buy waterproof hiking boots size 10. Their search is the end of a process. They have a specific need and are looking for the most efficient path to a purchase. One is a journey of inspiration, the other is a destination-focused query. This duality of intent has massive implications for the future of search. It suggests that a one-size-fits-all model is no longer sufficient. Search engines are realizing they can't just be a sterile database of facts. They also need to be engines of discovery and inspiration. The challenge is how to balance the need for specific authoritative answers with the desire for serendipitous, personalized discovery. The echo chamber and misinformation challenge. Now we must confront the dark side of this personalized search paradigm. The very algorithm that makes TikTok feel so intuitive and engaging is also a powerful engine for creating filter bubbles and spreading misinformation. While social search offers a highly relevant experience, it comes with significant risks that challenge our ability to foster a well-informed society. The benefits are clear. The content is engaging, often delivered in real time, and fosters a sense of personal connection with creators. But the limitations are severe. Unlike Google, which has spent decades refining its algorithms to rank for authority and credibility, social media algorithms are optimized for one primary metric: engagement. They are not designed to distinguish between fact and fiction. They are designed to identify and amplify content that captures and holds human attention. Unfortunately, emotionally charged, shocking, and simplistic misinformation is often far more engaging than nuanced factual content. This creates a structural vulnerability. A viral TikTok video promoting a scientifically unfounded health hack can spread to millions before any correction can catch up. The user's trust in a relatable creator can easily override the guidance of faceless but factually correct institutions. Furthermore, the hyper-personalization of the For You page creates powerful echo chambers. The algorithm learns what you believe and feeds you a continuous stream of content that reinforces those beliefs because it's the most effective way to keep you scrolling. Over time, this can lead to increased polarization and an inability to understand differing perspectives. The data on media literacy reveals a dangerous paradox. Gen Z are digital native, confident in their ability to navigate the online world. Yet studies show a startling gap between confidence and competence. One study found that while over 2/3 of Gen Z students rated their fact-checking skills as good, a staggering 88% were unable to reliably distinguish between a news story and a paid advertisement. They are fluent in using the technology, but not necessarily equipped with the critical thinking skills to understand how the technology is using them. Let's return to our vignettes. A Gen Zer, trusting the authenticity of a viral trend, tries a dangerous DIY health remedy they saw on their feed. A millennial, conditioned to be skeptical, cross-references information about the same health concern across multiple reputable medical websites before taking any action. This highlights the critical difference in approach and the potential for real-world harm when engagement is prioritized over evidence. The implications are profound. The rise of social search necessitates a new, more sophisticated form of digital literacy for all generations. It's no longer enough to just check a source. We must understand the persuasive architecture of the platforms themselves. The burden of verification has shifted almost entirely onto the individual, and the platforms have a growing responsibility to address the quality and safety of the information they algorithmically amplify. Conclusion. So where does this leave us? The future of search isn't a story of one platform winning outright. It's a story of convergence and adaptation. We see Google integrating more visual, user-generated content from forums and social media, trying to capture the relatability that Gen Z craves. Simultaneously, we see TikTok building out more robust search tools and e-commerce features, aiming to capture the high-intent queries that have long been Google's territory. This isn't a battle between two companies, but a reflection of our own evolving relationship with information. The shift is driven by deep-seated generational preferences for how we consume content, who we trust, and what we're even looking for in the first place. The search experience is becoming more intuitive, more visual, and more deeply intertwined with our social feeds. For both Gen Z and Millennials, adapting to this evolving landscape means understanding the strengths and weaknesses of every tool in our digital arsenal. It requires us to be active, critical consumers of information, whether it comes from a peer-reviewed study or a 30-second video. The ultimate search engine, after all, resides between our ears. How do you usually find information? Has TikTok truly replaced Google for you? Share your thoughts below. And if this gave you something to think about, hit like, subscribe, and tag a friend who still thinks TikTok is just for dancing. Follow GenShift for more insights into the future of tech and generations.